So Erislandy Lara defeats Austin Trout and drops him en route to a UD. It was a pretty boring fight, a pretty technical affair, but in the end, Lara did a better job on Austin Trout than Canelo Alvarez did. You know, Lara, coming from Cuba, you know, when you're a Cuban amateur, that's pretty much the best apprenticeship you can ever get in boxing. You know, being a Cuban amateur. These Cubans are incredibly skilled. You know, right from the beginning of their professional careers, these guys have got skills that are world class, right? That is the level of expertise that they teach you in Cuba when you're a Cuban amateur. Very few Cuban fighters out there are not highly skilled. You know, many of the Cubans, you could say, well, they're not that committed. Some of them, you know, you can maybe question their heart or this, that, and the other. One thing you can very rarely question about Cuban fighters is their skills, right? These guys are tremendously skilled, the vast majority of them. And Erislandy Lara is no exception to that, right? Very skillful fighter and very experienced, you know, not just in professional boxing, but in amateur boxing. The experience that these guys pick up in Cuba is ridiculous. You know, going into this fight here with Austin Trout, it was two southpaws facing each other, two slick southpaws. But it seemed obvious to me that Lara would have had far more experience facing slick southpaws than Trout, right? Far more experience because, you know, growing up in Cuba, being a boxer in Cuba, he would have sparred slick southpaws 7 days a week. You know, probably hundreds or thousands of rounds with slick southpaws back in Cuba. That's no big deal to him. You know, at the very highest level, some of the best slick southpaws in the damn world back in Cuba are all different weight classes. You know, so he would have been well used to that. When he found out that he was fighting Trout, another slick southpaw, to him, that was no big deal. He sparred loads of southpaws, fought loads of southpaws in the amateurs. No big deal at all. Yeah. Whereas for Trout, the guys from New Mexico, ain't too many slick southpaws down in New Mexico, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't no Cuban amateur. He didn't have that type of experience. And he didn't face, I don't know if Trout has faced any southpaws previously as a professional. So in terms of the experience going into the fight against slick southpaws, that was definitely a plus for Lara. And the technical aspect, the boxing skills, were definitely another plus for Lara. You know, to me, going into the fight, all Trout had going for him was his size. He seemed bigger in terms of weight and height and stuff like that than Erislandy Lara. So maybe he you know, would have had a chance to physically impose himself on Lara, but that certainly wasn't the case. And Lara used his ridiculous go-go gadget arms to control the fight from long range. Lara does have ridiculously long arms. You know, there are fighters in boxing with long arms, and then there's Erislandy Lara, who has ridiculously long go-go gadget arms for his height, right? There are obviously fighters with longer arms who are taller than Lara, but I'm talking about proportional to their height. Lara has got some ridiculously long arms, and he uses them very well. He's around the same height as Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, but his arms are even longer than Floyd's. I mean, this guy makes Floyd's arms look short in comparison. Right? Lara's got some long-ass arms on him. And he uses those long arms very, very well. Keeps his opponents on the outside. Bangs that left hand in. He's a counter puncher, all right? Not the most entertaining guy to watch all the time, but, you know, he certainly knows how to box. There's no question about that. And that's nothing new. You know, I've been following Erislandy Lara for a long time. He had the fight with Paul Williams, which most people thought he won. But he didn't get the win. Then he had the fight with Carlos Molina, which most people thought he lost, but he got the win. Did he get the win or was it a draw? I can't remember now. But anyway, he's had his trials and tribulations. I've been following Lara for a long time. He obviously knocked out Ronald Hearns and all that. But now he's got his, well, he obviously won the fight with Angulo, and now he's got his first real big significant win against a former world champion in Austin Trout. So, you know, it is what it is. He's looking for Canelo next. I'm not sure if Canelo will take that fight. Still don't know who Canelo's fighting in his comeback fight, but I doubt he'll take on Lara. You know, that just seems a bit like career suicide to me when he's trying to come back and rehabilitate himself. So I doubt he'll fight Lara. What do I think would happen in that fight? I think Lara would win. I think Lara would beat Canelo on points. Whether he get the decision or not is another matter. It depends where the fight took place. But I would take Lara in that fight. And what I'm about to say is maybe controversial to some, but to any level-headed boxing fan, you understand where I'm coming from when I say this. I've been saying for a long time that there's only one fighter in boxing between 140 and 154 who I would actually pick to beat Floyd Mayweather, and that is Erislandy Lara. All right, I've never picked a guy to beat Floyd Mayweather before. Never. In Floyd's whole career, I've never, said, okay, this guy's going to beat Floyd. It's never happened. I've never picked a guy to beat him. But I would pick Erislandy Lara to beat Floyd. Yeah, and again, it's not because I think Lara's a perfect fighter or anything like that. He's not. Yeah, I believe Lara lost to Carlos Molina. I believe Lara can lose in the future. I'm just talking about based on styles. I just think as a style and ability matchup, Lara is all wrong for Floyd. I think he would force Floyd out of his comfort zone and force Floyd to make mistakes that he's not used to making. Floyd is a very slick fighter, as we know, and he does certain things in the ring. He enjoys certain privileges in the ring. The privileges that his physical attributes give him. Like, for example, when Floyd's in the middle of the ring, like if you look at the Robert Guerrero fight, when he was in the middle of the ring, Guerrero couldn't do anything. Right, Floyd was able to pop a jab and land a lead right hand in the middle of the ring because he was, for two reasons. He was faster than Guerrero, one, and for two, he had much longer arms than Guerrero. Yeah, and that is one thing that Floyd uses very well. The guy's got some long arms on him, and he's fast and slick, and he uses them long arms in the middle of the ring very, very well. Yeah, he can hit you with the go-go gadget arms, and you can't hit him back because your punches are falling short. Yeah. But the problem with fighting someone like Lara is Lara's a southpaw, all right? So that right hand has got to travel further to land, a little bit further to land. And on top of that, Lara would be possibly the only guy Floyd's ever faced, at top level anyway, that has had longer arms than himself. Yeah, I'm not talking about reach, I'm talking about arm length. Yeah, and even when it comes to reach, a lot of people assume that Diego Corrales had longer arms than Floyd, but he certainly did not. Diego Corrales had a shorter reach than Floyd, and he even had shorter arms than Floyd. Both reach and arm length were shorter than Floyd's. So throw that Corrales nonsense out of the window. Floyd is used to having an arm length advantage over most of his opponents, and some idiots come on here and say, "Oh, Hatman, you're trying to say Floyd only wins because he's got long arms." I mean, it's kind of retarded shit that I hear from some boxing fans. No, Floyd has a bunch of attributes, but one of the attributes that he utilizes very well is his long arms. Yeah, and he relies on that when he boxes in the middle of the ring. He relies on those long arms. Similar to a Klitschko, right? That height and reach and that length dynamic, he utilizes that very, very well. But what's he going to do when that is taken away from him? Because a guy like Lara will take away that arm length dynamic. Floyd can no longer stand in the middle of the ring and be the boss with the counters because his counters are going to be falling short. Because Lara can keep him on the end of his go-go gadget arms, which are even longer than Floyd's. So what's Floyd going to do then? Floyd's going to have to try and take a step in to land that right hand. And when you take a step in before you throw a shot, it's easier for your opponent to read. Normally Floyd's feet are set in one position and he's at a certain distance. And as soon as you make the slightest move, bang, his right hand is going in. Yeah? He steps to the right maybe and bang, his right hand goes in. And he can catch you with that shot to, from halfway across the ring. At least that's what it feels like to you because his arms are longer than yours. All right. But with Lara, it's not so easy because Lara's got much longer arms than Floyd. Now, Floyd, when he steps in, he's going to be hitting air a lot of the time with his counters. And Lara's going to be countering back with a left hand. It'll be a very, very technical fight. Very interesting to see how Floyd copes with that kind of opponent. He's never faced anyone like Lara. You know, people, because of Floyd's profile and the fact he's undefeated and all this kind of stuff, people are just going to assume, without even thinking about it, without even looking at the style dynamic, without even looking at the, you know, the arm length dynamic and the fact that Lara's vast, you know, background and stuff like that as a Cuban amateur, they're going to totally dismiss all that. They're not going to look into any of it, and they're just going to instantly say Floyd's going to easily school Lara. You know, that's what some of these brain-dead morons are going to say, all right? They're not going to analyze it at all. Never mind any more deeply than that. They're just not going to analyze it at all, you know? But if you're a level-headed boxing fan and you do actually analyze the style of Lara, then you're going to see what I'm saying probably does hold some validity to it, that it is a difficult style for Floyd to deal with. And we've seen Floyd have problems with people like Zab Judah and DeMarcus Corley back in the days. And neither one of those fighters could hold Erislandy Lara's jockstrap, to be honest with you. All right. Zab Judah don't have anywhere near the arm length that Lara has. Lara's much bigger than Judah, much more powerful, you know, longer arms, slicker boxer, better defense than Zab Judah. Zab Judah never had a great defense, by the way, folks. You know, he had the look of a guy who should have a good defense, but he never actually did have a good defense. He got cracked in the mouth on a regular basis, even in his prime. And obviously DeMarcus Corley was he was a contender at one stage, but never really that good. All right. So Lara is better than those southpaws that Floyd faced. I think, as I said before, Lara's not a perfect fighter. I expect Lara to lose in his career, but just based on styles, he's the one guy who I would actually outright pick to beat Floyd Mayweather. I'd pick him to beat Floyd on points. Yeah, if he got a fair shake from the judges, I'd pick him to beat Floyd on points. And I've never picked anyone to beat Floyd before. All right, but Lara, that style, that whole southpaw thing, and he don't care about, he don't have to lead off on Floyd. He's got longer arms than Floyd. He can keep Floyd on the outside. He can force Floyd to lead. And when Floyd leads them shots that Floyd throws, Lara's going to see it coming, because unless Floyd steps in before he throws the shot's going to miss because Floyd's out of range. You get what I'm saying? And then Lara can counter with a left hand. So it's a whole different dynamic than what Floyd is used to dealing with. You know, I doubt the fight will ever happen. I don't think there's enough time for Lara to build up his profile enough to make it a risk worth taking for Floyd. You know, Floyd ain't going to fight no one like Lara unless there's some serious financial reward on the table for doing it. There's no promotional problems, obviously. Lara's with Golden Boy, so there's no problems in terms of the promotion. But and Lara does speak some English. You know, he's not like Guillermo Rigondeaux who don't speak a word of English. Lara does speak some English. So if I were him, I would start mentioning Floyd a few times here and there. Right now, he's just talking about Canelo. If I was him, I would start talking about Floyd, you know, and try and put himself in the sweepstakes as quickly as possible if he really wants to make that money and give himself a chance at glory. But if the fight was to ever happen, like I say, I would take Lara. So anyway, this video is way too long. I've been procrastinating like a madman in this video. As you can hear, I'm still kind of sick, which is why there was no videos for me for the past week or so, because I've been ill. And yeah, so make sure you check out my other post fights, because I will be doing post fights for the other fights that happened last weekend, and it'll be a lot shorter than this one. Can guarantee you. So yeah, check out those videos and let me know what you think about Erislandy Lara in his fight with Austin Trout. How do you think he would do against Canelo or Floyd? And do you think either of those fights will ever happen? Hit me up in the comment section. This is Hatman. I'm out.